O son of Kunti, Arjuna, it is my impregnating essence alone that makes Mother Nature give birth to both the animate and inanimate. By my power alone, through Prakriti, do the very worlds revolve. Swamiji, in his explanations to this verse, is saying that God as nature is the Divine Mother. His Son is the reflected, vibrationless consciousness at the core of every vortex of atom. He is the Spirit's uninvolved presence in every life. Whatever teachings I have learned from Swamiji, he has explained that when God created the universe, He didn't create the universe like we create our man-made things, just like a carpenter creates. A carpenter creates everything from outside. But when God created the world, there was nothing to make the world out, to create the world. So He had to create everything from His own consciousness, because before God there was nothing else. So He had to create everything from Himself. And so how He did that? So He just took His portion of His consciousness and vibrated His consciousness into thoughts. So basically He created the whole creation first in the ideas, and then to those thoughts, when they start vibrating at a further high speed, that became an energy world, and finally that energy condensed into the solid structure which we see everywhere around us. So this creation has come from God actually in three stages. First as ideas, then as energy, and finally into the physical structure that we see around. But then what we see around sometimes creates an illusion, like whether God is really there in the structures and the physical things which we see around ourselves. And to that explanation, to that question in our minds, Swami is saying that yes, right at the core of every atom, His presence is there as the point of stillness, to which different names have been given, and we also call it Kutastha Chaitanya. That Kutastha Chaitanya is nothing but the reflected spirit in the core of every atom. And in this verse, as the Krishna is telling Arjuna, that this nature is actually the vibration, is the whole nature is nothing but the vibrational world, what we call as Om. When we say the Om is nothing but the vibration, the Mother Nature is existing around us as Om. And our job, in fact, is to actually find out and see and to attain that vibe. And the point of stillness within ourselves. The whole endeavor of meditation is nothing but to actually feel and attain that point of stillness within. Because what we do in meditation, first we sit in meditation, and what we do, we try to still our physical body. So when we sit, we feel that okay, our body is not moving. But then what is the next step? After stilling the body, we have to still the mind, because more or less we have this understanding, okay, this is my body and this is my mind, but the objective of the whole meditation thing is to go beyond the body and mind and to attain that point of stillness, which Swami or the Krishna is talking here about. So meditation helps us in that. And how it helps, that when we still the body, we take care of the moment we sit in the asana, the objective is to still the body. But then we have to take care of the energy, the life force within, because unless we take care of the life force by doing the energization exercises and by doing the pranayama, we will not be able to interiorize our mind. So this pranayama which Master has given us, the control of the life force, helps in interiorizing the mind, and suddenly we feel that all those wandering thoughts which were disturbing us hitherto, they start calming down and we start going beyond the mind. Isn't that so? Because when we sit in the meditation, first we still the body and then we try to still the mind. And then comes the point of dharana, which is nothing but concentrating on just one aspect of God. Out of the 8 aspects, we can choose any aspect of God. It can be light, it can be love, it can be peace. And when we concentrate, we try to become one with it and trying to get absorbed into it. So this is the step-by-step process of getting beyond the body and mind and feeling that point of stillness within ourselves, which we are carrying. Each one of us, each atom is carrying. So every ego is also carrying that seed, that atom of stillness within. And the whole objective of meditation is to attain that. Finally, in the second part of the verse, Swami is telling us that to attune ourselves with God, we too must try to view objectively not only what happens to us, but our very reactions, for all these are simply parts of the storm of Maya raging around us. We must feel ourselves centered as much as possible at the core of that vortex, untouched by anything. Even our spirit, our essential self, is untouched. So, here an additional thing which Swami is emphasizing is that just because body and mind are parts of the nature, so they are parts of the duality, they are parts of the dual nature, and just because just like the waves of the sea, they keep on changing different forms and different shapes. Similarly, the body as well as the mind keeps changing, but it is the inner reality, the inner core, we as a soul, which is always unchanging. So now how it is very difficult to keep our focus always at the center of that stillness when we are in the world, because in the world all kinds of people we are meeting, sometimes all kinds of situations are there. People sometimes are disturbing us to all kinds of extent, but that is one thing. But as a devotee, sometimes we reach a point that okay, these things are happening to me, so maybe Master wants me to be these are the challenges which I have to grow beyond, and finally we do attain strength and the clarity to an extent that okay, this is the job I need to do, and I have to keep myself calm and centered. But then there are things, there are situations in which the Maya also plays its role through us. So because there are points when not only things which are affecting us, but things which are happening through us also can be sometimes very disturbing, because there were moments in my life when I was feeling okay, how could I do that? I am on the path, I am a devotee, but how could that thing happen through me? And then there is a chance of getting into self-reprimand and self-guilt. But then that doesn't help, because as the Yogananda has said, that never mind your faults, because God is never going to see your faults, and God only minds our indifference. So this is the state when we have to realize that okay, mistakes will happen through my body, through my mind, because my mind is also a part of the nature, and since the nature is created on the principles of duality, so mind will keep on changing. Yes, the sufferings will come to the body, sufferings will come to the mind, but I as a soul, I as a point of stillness, which is is largely unaffected, and my strength and my courage should always be to stay focused at that point of stillness. And all these tools which we have been given, which we are so fortunate, whether it is energization exercises, whether the meditation tools which we have, are just a step-by-step guide which has been given to us by the Master, how, so that we can gain strength, so that we develop, because I remember a story from Autobiography of a Yogi, in which Master was meditating in his attic room, and suddenly he finds he has a vision of this soldier who is on the ship, and who is fighting the battle, and he transfers his consciousness to this captain of the ship, and in that battle everywhere things are happening, and the shots are being fired, and the grenades are being fired, and suddenly that grenade comes on the deck of the ship, and it blasts, and the sailors are drowning everywhere, and this man also was being shot, and he starts drowning, and the Master, since his consciousness was in that, the captain of the ship, he also feels as if he's dying, but suddenly his consciousness shifts to where his body was presently stationed, where he was meditating, and he also gets confused for a moment that whether he was on the ship as a soldier or whether he is meditating in his attic room. And this is the question he posed to Divine Mother: what is this? Whether I am in the ship, whether I am on the ship, or whether I am meditating? And to that, what Divine Mother answers beautifully, that you are neither, because you are just playing the role that has been given to you, and you are a part of my life, which is as still and as peaceful as the God Himself is. So sometimes, we get identified by the role. Okay, I am performing this role, and the whole situation is sometimes, so engrossing that we get, so attached to it. But the verse is telling us that rather than getting attached to the role, rather than getting the outer storm of Maya, which will be, playing right around us, it's the whole objective of the path and the whole objective of our, meditative practices is to stay at the center and stay untouched, because we in our inner reality will always be like that.